High above the Philippine Sea, Captain Mahurin pilots his P-47, the engine vibrating through the aircraft. Frost creeps along the canopy as Mahurin grips the stick, the altimeter needle quivering. The vast ocean stretches below like hammered steel, reflecting the cold, distant sun. Mahurin tightens his gloved hand, lost in thought amidst the roar of the engine and hissing oxygen. He recalls the jokes about the flying tank, doubts echoing in the lonely cockpit at 26,000 feet. Radar blips signal incoming threats over the Philippine Sea as the sun reflects off the wings of distant fighters. 3 A6M0s climb rapidly, their speed a stark prelude to the impending aerial duel. Mahurin watches, a heavy silence enveloping him as the Zeros begin their attack. A Zero streaks past the canopy, a fleeting glimpse of the pilot's goggles. The infamous reputation of the Zero, known for its unparalleled turning, looms large in Mahurin's mind. Mahurin defies gravity, plunging the Thunderbolt downwards with unnerving speed. A Zero struggles to keep pace, its airframe trembling, as Mahurin feels the crushing G-forces. Machine guns roar like tearing metal as Mahurin unleashes a deadly burst. A Zero sputters smoke, its engine failing. Confusion spreads among the June 12, 1944. A P-47 Thunderbolt cruises at 31,000 feet, frost painting the canopy. Inside the Thunderbolt, Mahurin breathes steadily behind his mask, a lone warrior in the icy sky. Below, Petty Officer Tanaka struggles in his Zero, its engine straining to reach the Thunderbolt. The Zero's engine sputters, oil temperature rising as Tanaka pushes it beyond its limits. Tanaka realizes the Thunderbolt is in its element, far above the Zero's intended battleground. Mahurin rolls, diving toward chaos as Zeros scatter below, glinting like deadly insects against the vast sky. With cold precision, Mahurin selects his target, the Thunderbolt, a roaring beast of vengeance. A burst from his machine guns rips through the air, finding its mark with brutal accuracy. The Zero explodes, a brief, violent firework against the blue, before dissolving into nothingness. Mahurin climbs, leaving stunned Japanese pilots in his wake, a lone wolf ascending to the heavens. Inside Japanese intelligence HQ, officers pore over combat reports, frustration palpable in the tense atmosphere. Reports detail the American Thunderbolt's excessive armor and incredible diving speed, sowing disbelief. Japanese pilots are unable to inflict effective damage. A disturbing trend emerges from the data. One report highlights a Thunderbolt returning to base, riddled with damage, yet landing safely. Bewildered glances are exchanged as officers struggle to comprehend the Thunderbolt's resilience. The unwelcome shift in aerial dominance weighs heavily on their faces. A silent acknowledgement. October 18th, 1944, 6:42 hours. Low clouds over Leyte, Philippines. The sky is no longer the Thunderbolt's kingdom. Down here, the air is thick with moisture, smoke, and the stench of burning fuel. Rain squalls drift in from the sea, dragging visibility down to a few thousand yards. The cockpit canopy rattles as flak bursts punch black holes into the clouds ahead. Major Francis Gabby Gabreski lowers the nose of his P-47 and follows the river inland. You can feel the tension change immediately. This isn't the clean, detached violence of high-altitude combat. This is close, personal. Trees rush up toward the canopy. Villages blur past beneath the wings. Somewhere below, Japanese troops scatter, dive for cover, or freeze in disbelief as the enormous fighter drops out of the clouds like a descending god. This is where the Thunderbolt was never supposed to be. And yet, this is where it becomes something terrifying. The order had come down blunt and simple. Cut the lifelines. Japanese ground forces on Leyte were starving for fuel, ammunition, and reinforcements. Their air power had been bled white. What remained moved by road, rail, and river columns of trucks, mule trains, and coastal shipping hugging the jungle edge. American planners needed an aircraft that could go low, stay low, and come back alive. The P-47 was the only one that could do all three. Gabreski throttles back slightly, lining up on a narrow dirt road threading through the trees. He spots movement trucks. August 14th, 1945, 1830 hours. A humid evening over the western Pacific. The war is ending, but the Thunderbolt is still flying. A lone P-47 cruises above broken cloud layers, engine rumbling with the same deep, patient thunder it has carried since the first days of combat. Below, the islands look strangely calm. No flak, no contrails, no frantic radio calls. Just jungle, water, and the quiet aftermath of devastation. The pilot eases back on the throttle. For the first time in years, there is no rush to climb, dive, or fire. The guns remain cold, the rockets untouched. And yet, the weight of everything this aircraft has done hangs heavy in the cockpit. By the final months of the war, the Japanese no longer laugh at the Thunderbolt. They measure it in damage reports, in missing convoys, in roads that lead nowhere. American intelligence intercepts tell the story clearly enough. Units isolated for weeks because bridges never survived the night. Airfields rendered unusable by constant low-level attacks. Troops refusing to move during daylight for fear of the low, thunderous growl that always came before destruction. The P-47 had become a presence, an omen. Where it appeared, the ground war soon followed. The irony is almost cruel. The Thunderbolt had never been designed with elegance in mind. Its creators at Republic Aviation wanted power, altitude, and survivability. They built around the engine an enormous radio that demanded space, armor, and